What's going on, Washington fans? Welcome to the JTFB channel. I'm Josh Taylor, and it's time to talk about Deebo. If you follow me on social media, especially on Twitter at Josh Taylor FB, you noticed on the night of the Super Bowl, I kind of put out this cryptic tweet because I got some information about Deebo, but I really couldn't talk too much about it yet, just because I want to get more information before I just kind of throw something out there and like feed any kind of false information. Obviously, people are going to ask questions and stuff like that. People didn't like that I put the little eye, the side eye tweet or whatever, and it is what it is. Maybe I shouldn't have done that at first and just waited and said, "Hey, this is what I heard," which I did, the next day. But when I get something like that, like obviously I'm excited. I'm excited for y'all as well, and I want to share with y'all. So I just kind of want to let y'all know, hey, I have something for y'all. And a lot of people, and I replied a lot of times, like, in due time, like soon, just give me some time. I want to gather some more information. Like I said, I just don't want to spew out false information. So I put out, things got interesting because I received a text the night of the Super Bowl that Deebo Samuel received a phone call from both the Broncos and the Washington Commanders, from Adam Peters himself, which doesn't surprise me. Adam Peters knows Deebo coming over from San Francisco. And, it's just, I don't think it's a big deal to the point that like we kind of expected it. Washington needs a wide receiver. Once again, Adam Peters with that connection to Deebo. But just the fact that they reached out to him and made contact with Deebo, I just want to kind of address a couple things. First off, this wasn't like some he said, she said, or, oh, it kind of makes sense. Let me just put per source kind of thing. Like, no, this came from somebody who was physically with Deebo when this happened. This wasn't like some, oh, who is Washington linked to this offseason? Let me just say Washington's interested in trading for so-and-so per source. That's not how I roll. And if y'all know me, if y'all have been here since day one, like when I started, content from the ground up in 2018, I don't do clickbait. I don't do hot takes. That's not me. My name, my reputation, the relationships that I've built over the last 5 or 6 years mean a lot more to me than, some kind of clickbait or something like that on Twitter just to get a couple dollars from Elon Musk. That's not me at all. Like y'all know I don't speak unless I hear something, and I don't do this often at all. The last time I did it was the Newsome interest for the Browns, and once again, I heard from a reliable source about that, so I kind of put that out there. And then back when we traded Chase Young to the 49ers, I said, a source told me that they were looking at both Chase Young and Montez Sweat trade-wise, but they just didn't want to give up enough for Montez Sweat, so they traded for Chase Young. So like I said, I don't do this often at all. And I only do this when I am like 100% sure. So I got a text like 9 something at night Central Time that he got a call from Denver and Washington. And then about 20 minutes later, I talked to somebody completely different, like they don't know each other at all, and told me the same thing. So yes, I posted that, and I was just waiting to get more information. As once again, I kind of wanted to confirm, not just, with one person, not saying I don't trust this guy, obviously I do, but also with that second person, just saying like, hey, they have more of a connection on the other side of things, if you know what I mean. This didn't come from someone in Washington. Like people are like, oh, you don't have any like sources in-house in Washington, or no one knows what AP does. I didn't say I did. I never said, oh, this came from someone that works with Washington. I never said anything like that. So I just don't want people to think that, like, first off, this was some kind of clickbait thing, because it wasn't. Second off, like, I believe that not a lot of people know what AP and them do in-house is very closed lips. But I just want people to know I don't say anything unless I am willing to risk my entire life on it. This is my life. What I do, all of this is my life. Like the industry doesn't respect the clickbait people. The ML football, the Dove, like all those accounts that I've like blocked, all of those, like NFL Room. No one respects any like actual people in the industry. Do not respect those kind of people. So I just want people to know, and the real ones from day one know, that's who I am. I'm not some hot take clickbait kind of person, and I never will be. That is a hill I will die on. That stuff drives me nuts. Like I said, I block every single one of those accounts that I see. But when it comes to Deebo, Washington is definitely interested. So what does that mean? And what does this look like? So I want to tell y'all a little bit more about this situation and what you can expect. Obviously, like I said, Washington isn't the only team that was interested. Like I said, Denver called as well. I'm sure other teams have. I can't sit here and talk about the Steelers. I can't talk about like the Patriots or anyone like that. I don't know. Some other people said that he's been in contact with the Steelers or the Steelers want him, whatever. I have no idea. I'm just talking about what I know. And also, like, if it was fake, why would I throw Denver in there? Like, I don't care about Denver. I don't care about Denver news, anything like that. If I was to make up something with Deebo Samuel in Washington, I would just say straight up Deebo in Washington. I wouldn't just throw Denver in there, and I show the text messages as well on Twitter. But this in my opinion, like, we kind of knew this was coming, but it's just good to see that the night of the Super Bowl, like, Washington's already getting busy. And I have no idea about Cooper Kupp, by the way. I've had people ask me that. I have no idea. If I know something, I'll tell you. If I don't know something, I'll be the first to tell you. I have no idea. I'm clueless on it. I don't know about Cooper Kupp. I don't know about Myles Garrett. I don't know about anything else except Deebo and Washington right now. So that's what we're going to talk about. But like I said, we knew this was going to be a thing eventually, and it, in my opinion, happened a lot faster. Now, obviously, Deebo, in his way out of the exit meetings, pretty much approached Kyle Shanahan, it sounds like, and said, I want to be traded. I don't know how Kyle and the front office feel about Deebo. I don't know, what all that looks like, if they're bitter about it. I don't know. I'm not sure about that yet. But what I do know is they told Deebo and like his agent, like, we are, giving you grace. We are allowing you to go find a trade partner. I think that's really big. So I think obviously with that news, teams are reaching out to Deebo. I don't know if Washington's had any kind of discussions with the front office, with like Lynch or anyone in the 49ers organization. I can only speak for the contact that we had with Deebo. That is it. I can't speak for front office wise. Talking to San Francisco, nothing beyond that except Deebo got a phone call. And it could have just been an early, like, hey, man, we are interested in you. Like, as this process goes on, like I said, I'll talk about the money. I'll talk about the timeline because it gets a little wonky. So we're gonna walk through that. But for me, like, maybe it was just like a hey, Deebo, we are interested. So if when the time comes and those conversations with the 49ers, with Lynch start to take place, first off, AP knows John Lynch. They were spending a lot of time together at the Senior Bowl, like half of a practice. What was it? Day one, I believe. Day one. He's on the field standing next to John Lynch, and they're just talking and walking back and forth down the sidelines and stuff like that. They have a very close connection. So obviously with that connection, things would be very easy. But Adam Peters is also a very, very smart businessman when it comes to these trades. We've seen him go after Marshawn Lattimore. We've seen him go after, trading in the draft. We've seen him be aggressive. We've seen him, make these business decisions. So with that being said, what does it look like for Deebo? I just want to pull up my screen real quick and just show y'all what this breakdown looks like and why things get kind of complicated when it comes to Deebo. And of course, like, we can talk about Deebo. We can talk about, is he durable? We could talk about his headspace. Like, is he just like pissed off at everybody? Like, what is Deebo's problem? Why does he want out of San Francisco? Does he drop the ball too much? Whatever. Me personally, I like Deebo in the sense of that I think he fits the offense. We can talk about, go trade a first for Garrett Wilson. Go get T. Higgins. We can talk about all of these situations, but let's talk about the realistic, like the actual opportunities that are out there. Cooper Kupp, Deebo, Myles Garrett requested a trade. We don't know if they're going to actually trade for him. It sounds like they are standing their ground on Myles Garrett. The Browns do not want to trade Myles Garrett. Garrett Wilson. No one said Garrett Wilson is available. No one has said that. He showed his, displeasure a while back. He pretty much said, if Aaron Rodgers comes back, I want to be gone. Aaron Rodgers is gone. Devontae Adams is about to be gone next. Garrett Wilson's not going anywhere. T. Higgins, Joe Burrow does this whole tour on the, Super Bowl radio row and says, I will do anything it takes to get him back, Hendrickson back, pay Chase. Like, I'll restructure my contract, whatever. I don't care. And is there an opportunity to get T. Higgins? Sure. Will Washington be like one of the teams there as a top 3 team with salary cap? I think sure. But Adam Peters is not going to go above, if he says he wants to pay 30, but the mark is 32, because some people saying he can get up to 35 mil a year for T. Higgins. If he doesn't want to do it, he's not going to do it. He's not going to force it and say, okay, well, let's overpay for T. Higgins. That's not Adam Peters. And we should all know that by now. He's a smart guy. He's not going to be making just the craziest decisions and just be reckless with stuff. Will he be aggressive? Yes, but in a, responsible way, not just throw money out there, not just throw picks away. He is going to do things to a T in what he believes in. And that's why I love Adam Peters and why I respect him. So, but let's talk about the actual, possibilities that could happen. Could we trade for Deebo? Yeah. If T. Higgins stays or DK Metcalf, no one said he's actually available. These are just suggestions or not even like rumors. These are just saying, hey, according to the financials of things, DK might be on the move. Why would they trade DK? Why would they want to? Once again, it's not saying that it's impossible, but it is very, very unlikely. I'd say Garrett Wilson's the most unlikely. I'd say DK's right behind him. And then T. Higgins, who knows? But then you also have to outbid every other team, including the Patriots, who have way too much money for whatever reason. I'm just saying, guys, let's start being realistic. Is there a chance we trade for Deebo? Yes. But maybe they don't even trade Deebo. Let's talk about it. And I say that because we're like, what? He's like asking for a trade, though. Just stay tuned. Buckle up. From what I'm gathering, just like the vibes out there, it's not like I heard this from Deebo, anything like that. Like, I'm not saying that. But a lot of people believe, especially people like over at the 49ers, like they're insiders and stuff like that, but kind of paying attention to them as well. The vibe is like a 5th round pick. And we have a 5th round pick. We have a 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd, a 5th, a 6th, and 2 7ths. So if we traded pick 148 for Deebo, like I wouldn't hate it, honestly. If we do that, sign, Darius Slayton, and this doesn't stop you from spending money or drafting a wide receiver, like maybe Trey Harris is there at 61 somehow, or Jaden Higgins from Iowa State is there, like, and you draft him, or like I said, you sign a Chris Godwin or you sign a Darius Slayton, someone like that. This doesn't stop you from doing that, by the way. You still have a good bit of money, but let's talk about the money as well with Deebo. So let's just start with here. The first thing is whichever team. Where's it at? Here we go. 2025 cash. Whatever team acquires Deebo, this is the money that they're acquiring. $17.5 million in 2025. Not terrible, not the end of the world. Now, people are going to say, okay, well, maybe they'll do what Cooper Kupp and the Rams said. The Rams said, we are willing to eat some of the cap of Cooper Kupp's, what is it, $20 million or very close to it, 19. It's either 19 or 20. We will eat some of that if we find a trade partner for Cooper Kupp. We are willing to eat some of that salary cap to help out because no team wants to pay Cooper Kupp $20 million and trade a draft pick for him. Like they know it's realistic. So people are going to tell me, Josh, why doesn't the 49ers just do the same thing? Why can't they just eat some of that 17.5? Say they eat, I don't know, 3 or 4. And then like the draft compensation, like a 5th kind of outweighs it. You have to think money, draft capital. It's like a scale. Like this isn't Madden, guys, but it gets very complicated in this sense. You do have a potential out this year, but there's a $31 million dead cap hit with Deebo. People are like, what does that mean, Josh? So let's really break it down. If the 49ers trade Deebo Samuel before June 1st, so like before the draft, before free agency, or even anytime before June 1st, there's a dead cap of $31 million to the 49ers. That is a lot of money. But, with the savings and everything, the savings is in the negative. Even with the dead cap, even with, taking that money off of them, the 17 and change like I was talking about, they still eat $15 million. That is a lot of money. If they were to release Deebo, so if you look here, between now and I think there's like a player option on the 21st or 22nd. If this is crazy, if they were to release him now to then, they still take the same amount of hit. And if it's even if it's between the 21st and the first, it just gets even worse. So you're like, what does this mean? If they were to trade Deebo next week, they, no matter what, they're taking a $15 million hit. Even with getting him off the books, they are eating that. The dead cap hit was 31 mil, but the total savings is negative $15 million. That's a lot. So if I'm the 49ers, I don't like that. I don't like that number. They might have to pay Brock Purdy. Like, who knows what they're about to do? They need money. Like, they still have to build their team up post Deebo. So they're eating $15 million if they trade Deebo Samuel. So in my opinion, they're going to want a higher draft pick because of that. So once again, we have the scale. We have what the 49ers want, or like what they're offering. They're offering Deebo, but also the money that, like the negative $15 million that comes with it that they have to eat. So first off, they're not going to eat any of that $17 million because they're already eating $15 million. That makes zero sense unless you're offering like a third round pick or something. Then they're like, okay, we can figure it out. If you're offering us like a top 90 pick, then sure. But that would never happen for Deebo. I think straight up, like, fair is a 5th round pick. Now, what we have to think to ourselves, if you are the 49ers, this is what they have to decide. Is a 5th round pick good enough to eat that $15 million when you trade Deebo? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. But if I'm a team trading for, Deebo, I'm like, hey, we still have to pay him 17 and change in 2025. That's what we are comfortable giving up, a 5th round pick. Take it or leave it. And I just, for what the 49ers have to eat and what they're giving up, they want more. And I don't know how many teams are going to be willing to do that. How many teams are going to be willing to give up a 4th round pick? Even with a bad free agent, wide receiver class, in my opinion, there's some good ones in there. Some had some major injuries, whatever. And then same with in the draft, not the best wide receiver class. I'm still pretty hesitant to give up a 4th round pick, especially having to pay him. But then you also have to rework a new deal. Maybe you can do that right off the jump. But if you are the 49ers, look at the bottom here. Post 6-1. If I'm the 49ers, this is what I'm doing. Deebo, you want to be traded? Okay, we are trading you on June 2nd because then we are saving $5.2 million. And it allows us to spread out the dead cap. So the dead cap in 2025, it goes from 15 whatever to $10.6 million. And then in 2026, it goes to $20 million. So instead of the 31 all up front in 2025, which results in a negative $15 million savings, a post June 1st release and trade allows you to spread that out over 2 years. And then in 2026, the salary cap's going to go up even more. So they really don't care that it's $20 million. They'll worry about that next year. Like I said, the salary cap's going to go up at the end of February, maybe beginning of March, but more than likely the end of February like it did last year. But then in 2026, it'll go up again, and they'll just have to eat it. But what do I think is most likely? You, in my opinion, you have to find a trade partner if you're the 49ers. But you want that trade to be done post 6-1. But how many teams are going to want to trade for Deebo post 6-1? I don't think there's going to be many, if any. So, in my opinion, there's 2 things that's going to happen. 2 things that's going to happen. One, a team is going to offer a trade for Deebo pre 6-1. So before the draft, probably, like, who knows. Ideally, it'd be before the draft, obviously, because you're going to be giving up draft picks. A team is going to offer up a good enough pick to where the 49ers are like, okay, we will take that. What is that pick in the draft? What is the number? I don't know. No one knows but Lynch and company of what they're willing to accept. But just remember, they have to eat $15 million. So that kind of ups the price. Like, okay, if it was a clean sweep and we didn't, have to eat anything, maybe we'll take a 6th, maybe a 5th. But the fact that we also have to eat $15 million, We need more. If we're doing this right now, we need more. So just remember that. Money and draft capital, the weight of that, just act like it's a scale. But then post 6-1, that's when you're not eating so much, especially at once. You're spreading it out over 2 years. That $31 million gets spread out, 10.6 mil in 2025 and 20.4 in 2026. If I'm the 49ers, that's what I want to do. Unless someone offers me like a 4th round pick before the draft, then I'm probably doing that and just eating the salary cap. I'm moving some money around, whatever. Like I said, the salary cap's probably going to go up. If I had to guess, I'd say like 7-8 mil. So that kind of helps out as much there too. But once again, the 49ers still have to operate as an organization and build around the team and pay their guys and probably, likely, pay Brock Purdy. Who knows what they're going to do there. But you have to have the money. So that's my thoughts on it, y'all. What I think is going to happen is one of those two. They're either going to get a good enough price to be willing to eat that dead cap hit before the draft, which I think would probably have to be a 4th round pick or somewhere around there, maybe a little bit better. Or maybe like a 5th and like a 6th next year. But if not, and teams are just saying like, hey, we're not willing to offer that for Deebo, then in my opinion, there's no point really in releasing him before then, because you're still eating that dead salary cap. If he's unhappy, I'm like, okay, you found your trade partner, but we're waiting. We'll take a draft pick for next year. If that means we're not eating all that dead salary cap right now. So we're going to release you 6-1 or trade you 6-1, like post 6-1, and save $5.2 million in 2025 and then spread out that dead cap. It's just, if I'm the 49ers, that's what I'm hoping for. Somebody give me a good enough trade before the draft and we'll think about eating that dead cap. But if not, you're Deebo, I hate to tell you, I know you're the one that wanted out. We don't want to get rid of you, or maybe they do. I don't know. But we wanted to do so financially, like responsibly. You have to wait till post June 1st, but I hate to tell you. But then also, once again, if you're a team that wants Deebo, do you want him to get released post 6-1 and then you're kind of, competing against all these other teams? If you're Washington, you're competing against the Broncos possibly, or you're competing against the Patriots or the Steelers, or someone that wasn't able to sign a free agent, someone that didn't draft the wide receiver they wanted, and now they're just all in on getting Deebo for the season and locking him in, giving him a 3-year deal. And that's what I think would happen anyways. If you get Deebo, you probably offer him a 3-year deal. The first year is going to be, pretty reasonable. Second year, it's going to go up. Third year, it's going to be like the highest of the 3. It's just going to go up, every single year. You're probably going to have it out after that second year. But once again, the salary cap is going to go up every single year. So who cares? And then if things aren't working out, you cut ties after that second season. That's what I think. So it's up to the 49ers, and it's also up to the trade partners, not even just Washington, but the teams that are interested in Deebo. So just remember, Washington has contacted Deebo, which was expected, honestly. It's not like some shocker, but it's just good to confirm that they have reached out to him. And like I said, there's a lot of people that don't want Deebo because they think he, drops a lot of balls. He's out of shape. Like he just doesn't have the same juice anymore, whatever. He can't stay healthy. Whatever your opinion is of Deebo, just know that it is a possibility. It is a possibility. But also it doesn't stop Washington from making moves, getting Myles Garrett. If you trade a 1st this year and a 1st next year, who cares if you trade a 5th too and get Deebo? You could also trade back. You can also acquire more picks. You could trade John Allen, maybe you release John Allen. But I'm just saying, you have no idea what else could happen this offseason. So don't act like one move is the end all for every other move possibility. I know Adam Peters wants draft picks. I know he wants to build through the draft. That's something he's been vocal about. He wants to really just build the team and the roster with those draft picks and develop. That's the biggest thing. We saw what the Eagles did. We see how well they draft, especially in the trenches, and they develop their players. That's what every team in the NFL wants to do, and that's definitely what Adam Peters wants to do. So it's not the end all if they do trade for him. But I think best case scenario is they do release him, 6-1. And say we sign somebody and say we draft somebody. We have 5 wide receivers that are free agents. The only ones that aren't free agents are Terry McLaurin and Luke McCaffrey. So say we re-sign Lamine Zaccheaus, De'Ami Brown if he's not looking for more money somewhere else, and then like Noah Brown. So we signed 3 of the 5, and then say we sign Darius Slayton, and say we draft, I don't know, Kyle Williams in the 5th. My guy Kyle Williams. Say post June 1st they release Deebo because they can't find a trade partner for him, and Washington has the chance to sign him. He wants to come here. From my understanding, he's very interested in Washington because of Cliff, because of the cap that we do have, and of course, everyone loves Jade. Then maybe you get rid of somebody or remove somebody down, like bringing back Noah Brown, De'Ami Brown, and Lamine Zaccheaus once again would not be the end all of like, oh, now we can't get Deebo. That's not the case at all. If you have the chance to get Deebo and make the team better, then you do it. And like I said, you would probably do a new contract, a 3-year one with the second year out. That's my opinion. That's what I would do. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. If y'all hate me for the tweet, I apologize. I won't tweet out any more teasers if I hear anything that ever comes up again. But like I said, y'all know me. I don't just tweet out my ass. I don't just say random stuff or like clickbait, nothing like that. What I do is way too important to me. Like my reputation, all the work I've done is way more important than some clicks and attention on Twitter. That's not the case at all. So appreciate y'all for tuning into the video. Drop your comments below as always, and then subscribe and like while you're here. Got a lot of big things cooking. I've already got content planned out the entire week. It's going to be crazy. It is going to be a crazy season. I know things are going to be quiet right now. It's kind of the buildup, but free agency starts March 10th, and we'll see if any of these trades go down before free agency really kicks off. So stay tuned, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.